All right. So, how is everybody doing today? Good. Very good. I'm okay. I'm okay. So I'm going to start with a question. How many people here like superheroes? Oh, that's very nice. I have one that is okay with superheroes. Well, when y'all were little, did y'all want to ever be a superhero? No? Yes? Okay. Well, I know when I was little, I would want to be a superhero, but I would sort of have the realistic mindset that I couldn't do that because of my disability, because of me having asthma. And I started to wonder, who are the other kids out there, who were my age back then, who have asthma and want to be a superhero, and they can't do that because they can't relate to it. So what I did was make a superhero called I-Man. Hold on, let me show you that. And that's just I don't know if you can see it well, but it's a prototype of what I-Man would look like. And I made him have a lot of realistic characteristics relating to asthmatics. Every color you see on there is the same color as this inhaler here that I have in my hand. So when an asthmatic kid today sees this superhero, they'd be like, oh, he's the same colors as my inhaler. I can relate to that. And the yellow that you see here is the color of the phlegm that you would get if you have an asthma attack, and it just fills up your lung area and fills in your bronchioles. So what is asthma? I can show you that with a picture. It basically is a disease that affects your bronchioles in your lungs. And what happens is that the muscles contract and then fill up with phlegm. So this is a bronchial tube that is before an asthma attack. And this is what happens after it. Now you see the difference that it all contracts and puffs up, and you can't really breathe, exhale or inhale. And so you sound like, and it's the most worst, horrible thing ever. I have some personal experiences with having an asthma attack that basically changed my life, because before I didn't know asthma was that serious until I had to stay overnight over in the hospital for it. And the doctors told me, do you use your inhaler all the time? And I would tell them no, because I'm afraid of what people would think of me if I used my inhaler in front of my friends. And they were like, well, that's kind of silly. And I was like, no, it's not, because in a past time, I would get bullied, in middle school, for using my inhaler, during track. I would get bullied for using it, they would say, oh, that gives him extra speed, or something like that. It was no, it just helps me breathe. And I would feel super awful about using my inhaler, so I wouldn't use it, you know. And then it just came the time when I was in the hospital where I realized I just have to stop believing in what other people say to me. I'll never be as good as others because I have this disease or have asthma. I just had to stop believing that, and I had to use the medication that will help me to be successful in my own way. There are a lot of famous characters today that have asthma, but none of them are superheroes. This character right here, can't really see him, but do you know General Grievous from Star Wars? Yeah. All right. Well, he has asthma, he coughs all the time, and he just breathes very heavily, and he's not a good character. He's just this big supervillain who just destroys everything. And then there's Darth Vader. Darth Vader also breathes heavily, and he's not a good example for kids who have asthma today. And kids who have asthma today want to look up to someone who is good and who can be a great person with loyal personality and all that stuff. like a normal superhero. All right. I have a couple of videos for you that will show you what asthma is, and a couple of YouTube videos of Grievous and Darth Vader breathing very heavily. If y'all don't mind, I'll start with that.
Asthma is caused by inflammation or swelling of the lining of the airways in your child's lungs. In a child with asthma, the lining of the airways is always a little inflamed. But when exposed to an infection, irritants such as cold air, chemicals, perfume or smoke, or allergens like dust or pollen, the lining of the airways swell. The airways contract and produce more mucus. These changes in the airway make it difficult for your child to move air in or out of the lungs.
Yeah, that was a quick example of what an asthma attack looks like and what can happen to you if you have asthma. Okay. Here's a video on how to use an inhaler and what it does.
An asthma inhaler delivers a metered dose of medicine in a mist that your child inhales into the airways of the lungs. Here are the steps for using a metered dose inhaler. Remove the caps from the chamber and the metered dose inhaler.
There's the inhaler I just
Shake
showed
the
you.
inhaler vigorously. Hold the inhaler upright with the mouthpiece at the bottom. Insert the mouthpiece of the inhaler into the rubber-sealed end of the chamber. Waste 2 puffs in the chamber if the inhaler has either never been used or not used for a week or more. The wasted puffs don't count as doses. With your child standing or sitting up straight, place the chamber into the child's mouth. Have your child breathe slowly in and out of the valved holding chamber several times. While your child is breathing in slowly, press the inhaler down once to release the medicine into your child's mouth. After you've sprayed the medicine, have your child breathe in as deeply as possible and then hold their breath for 10 seconds. Children who cannot hold their breath should breathe in and out slowly for 3 to 5 breaths. If additional puffs have been prescribed, wait 1 minute and repeat these steps.
Okay, that's basically what an inhaler is and what it helps with and how to use it. I have 2 YouTube videos, like I said, of Grievous and...
Asthma is caused by
I must deal with this Jedi slime myself.
Oh, if you listen closely, he's going to cough, and then I'll pause it for you.
Fool. I have been trained in your Jedi arts by Count Dooku.
Y'all hear that at all? Yes? No? Alright, well, I've seen Star Wars Episode 3, and I don't remember it that much, but I could have sworn I seen him take sort of a medication, an inhaled medication that helped him with his breathing. So I think that was kind of cool, but then I wouldn't be able to look up to that because he's evil, and I don't want to be evil. I want to be good. And here's another clip of Darth Vader. I won't play it. I won't play it all. It's kind of long, but let me fast forward a little. And you can just hear his breathing as he's fighting. And when he starts to talk,
It is useless to resist.
he sort of has like this graspy, asthmatic, deep voice. Sorry.
There is no escape. Don't make me destroy you. Luke, you do not yet realize your importance.
And
You
yeah,
have only begun to discover your power. Join me, and I will come.
yeah. Well, you could hear the very deep, heavy breathing. And he also has a machine that helps him breathe. And some asthmatics need to be on nebulizer treatment, like for like 2 hours to 4 hours, like a day. And I used to do that when I was little because my asthma was worse than it is now. And I would have to sit down for 2 hours in my preschool using a nebulizer while all the other kids are playing around with blocks and stuff like that. And then I'd get very tired after, so then I'd just fall asleep. So my childhood wasn't very fun at all. Hold on. Now you're wondering, what is the comic book side of all this, and how does that come into play with asthma? Now, like I said before, I wanted to create a hero that would symbolize strength for little, like, teenage or young asthmatics. This is not him. This is the supervillain. I can talk about him later. But I-Man, basically, he has all the weaknesses of an asthmatic, but he also has super strength and super speed. And how that comes into play is that he can still help out others and be who he wants to be, but like he still has to deal with like, let's say, mold, dust, stress, anxiety, all the stuff that triggers asthma. So he kind of has to be cautious, and he has to think all the time of what he's going to do and what's his next move. We can come over here to my action scene, I guess. So right here is this big action scene that like ends the whole comic book that I'm going to do. So it's I-Man, and this is the first time you see Exhaler is the villain's name. And he basically, after I-Man like saves a woman from a guy stealing her purse, like he jumps down, a big explosion, smoke everywhere, and screams out his name. And then I-Man just like can't believe like who it is, because the storyline is they're both best friends, but as he was having an asthma attack, he went away to like New York trip or something like that, and he had an asthma attack too, but nobody was there to help him. But like this mysterious guy came out of an alleyway and gave him this inhaler with an X on it, and he took it because he thought it would help him. But what it did was give him this immense power, and his best friend was kind of greedy. So he just kept using it and kept using it, and what it did, it turned him into this like big asthmatic monster who just steals like breath away so he can survive. And what happens is that he grew like a phlegm horn out of his shoulder, which makes him look kind of disgusting. And this shows like kids, like you can't use your inhaler or abuse your inhaler too much. So use it once a day if you need it once a day, and like you'll be fine. If you use it too much, you become a monster, right? And that's what's so different about them, is that he was greedy and I-Man wasn't, and he loved everything. And he was just the super nice guy who just happened to get an asthma attack at the wrong time. And he was actually at his first track meet, and he ran the 100-yard meter, and then somebody sprayed some perfume in the air. And the perfume got into his lungs, and that caused him to have a severe asthma attack, which also almost caused him to die. So these two doctors gave him this new steroid inhaler that they'd never used before. And later on, they find out that it was a nuclear inhaler that gave people powers. But what they did think is that it would cure him forever. So he took the inhaler and then got super strength, and this suit actually grew on him. So I think the suit that grows on him, it relates more, because, you know, like phlegm just grows onto the lungs of the asthmatics. So I think they can relate to that, just something growing on you and staying there until you're done with your power. And his power runs out in 8 to 6 hours, just like an inhaler. So again, asthmatics can relate to that. How I thought of this superhero was I was watching a YouTube video on how to create superheroes. And I was like, oh, that'd be a really cool idea. And then I thought, but how would it relate to me? So then I created an asthmatic superhero who would somewhat resemble my features in a way. Skinny, lanky, you know, track star. So I gave him all those characteristics and kept all the asthmatic characteristics to, again, relate to asthmatics. We can scroll down and see, I think I have a video there. This is just my process. Like, you can't really see it, but like those are sketches that I did of the comic book when it first started out. That's Darth Vader. He also gave me kind of an inspiration of how to draw the supervillain. I gave him kind of the mouthpiece over his mouth so he can breathe in and suck in the air from other people. I gave him a cape and the hood over it. So he's not, and I gave him a mask for exhaler, if you can see over there. I think this is it. Hold on. This is just the process of creating a comic book. And I guess I know this helped me a lot because it made me realize that the process is much harder than it looks. I thought a comic book would be easy, very easy to make, but it just so much like inker and penciler, write a story. You have to like think of a storyline and think of the narrative in the storyline, like how are they going to say this and that. And it just became talking about stress, and that just added on so much stress to me. And I even had a little miniature asthma attack thinking about all this. Let's see. I'm just going to try to find a video that I can show you. Just bear with me for a little, I'm sorry. Now this is 6 minutes long, so I will fast forward some parts.
At McDonald's, people call me Citrus Lemon, out of respect. Women pucker up when they see me. You gotta get some of that icy lemon swirl before it's gone.
Alright folks, in this clip I'm going to teach you how to create your very own superhero from scratch. The process that you go through when you're first designing a look for your superhero character.
Should I turn off the light?
First thing you're going to want to do is figure out who this guy is, or girl as the case may be. Figure out exactly what it is, figure out their story essentially.
When you said figure out their story, I was like, oh, then how it would relate to me?
And why they fight the fight that they fight. That sounded very redundant. Basically figure out what it is that they're trying to accomplish. Because most superheroes are either people who feel a strong sense of duty or an overwhelming desire to, get even for something that was done wrong to them. Now, the first thing you're going to want to do is really design a clear and distinct look for them. Create a clear...
And when you said clear, distinct look, that's when I started, like, it hit me that I need to create, make him resemble Asthma. So actually I put 2 puffers on his head to make it resemble, like, every time there's danger, they go off. It's like, so I thought that'd be kind of funny. Keep watching.
Look and pattern. And the thing that's kind of tricky about designing your own superhero is you feel like you want to be very careful not to use anything that anyone else has done before, and that's getting increasingly difficult because there isn't a whole lot left that hasn't been done already. But basically what I'm doing here is I'm just...
Don't mind if I fast forward a little?
I'm trying to create a comic book character that the body's going to look like. So this would be my bust sort of right here.
So he starts talking about the body of it.
This is, like I said, not easy to do, I know. Sketches, you really want to use these to kind of get you motivated and inspired to draw the rest of it. Because once you have a really strong idea and a really passionate take on a character, like a superhero, figure out early on, are they going to be supernatural or human? And that is a pretty important decision to make.
And around that point, I kind of stopped the video because I just had a basis on what I was going to do and how I was going to do it. And what he said is like, are they going to be human or like not? So I created him to be both because I thought that'd be cooler. I also put some kind of funny stuff. If you have asthma, it relates to you a lot. Like at this point, he's about to like shoot a plasma full of like phlegm, like kind of ball at his face. So it get into his lungs. But then when the time runs out, the inhaler pops out of the belt so you can take it again. So he grabs the inhaler, says puff, puff. Now, if you have asthma and you see that, you're going to be like, oh, that's so true. And then it says literally 10 seconds later, because the video you just seen about the taking the inhaler, you have to wait 10 seconds. He gets super strength again. He grabs his arm. It was like payback time. And it's like to be continued. Yeah. So this just gave me great inspiration. And like when I heard about SYP, that just like told me that it was time for me to shine. It was time for me to get my idea that I had for this superhero out there. And I think that this has given me like a great opportunity. And I'm glad that I took it and worked as hard as I did. I've never worked this hard for anything, really. This has been a very great experience for me. And I'm going to take this with me forever and ever. Yeah, hold on. Let's see if there's anything more. Like, I can show you some of my fears that I had at the first, like week of SYP, speaking in front of a crowd. And as you can see, that has changed quite a lot since I've been here. Stage fright. I'm up here talking to you, even though I'm not standing up. You know, I'm speaking out. Stumbling over words. Did I really stumble over words just now? Think about it. No? All right. Research not having enough of. I think I've had plenty of research to put into my paper and to talk about here today. So I don't think that was anything bad. I mean, I've learned a lot from what I was back then to what I am now. I can sit here and talk to you and be relaxed, even though I was nervous in the beginning. But I seem a lot more, like I know a lot more than I did when I started out SYP. And I feel like it's made me realize that I had to mature and grow up. And I feel like this has changed my life. Any questions? Yes.
When's the comic book coming out?
Hopefully by September, because I need the whole summer to get like at least 3 issues out.
Yeah, we want to see the finished product.
I will bring it to you.
Do you have a plan for how to share it, like at hospitals tools or how to get it to children who really will relate?
I will think about that, but not yet. I'm going to. Okay.
Yeah, because it could be a very powerful tool. Pediatricians' offices.
Yeah. It'd be a great idea.
How much about asthma did you know before you did this?
Oh, I've just known like my whole like personal experience with asthma, but like the whole like facts of it, like I did not know perfume can cause an asthma attack until I did this SYP project. And I also didn't really understand the fact that how many things can trigger asthma. So it made me aware of a lot more, I would say. But just personal stuff, like having to deal with asthma my whole life is all I know. Until what I found out.
Who are your sources? Is it just the computer, or did you go and interview people?
It's just a computer, like myself and the computer. Like I did interview a couple of students, but that didn't get to go up because the friend that I gave it to, the camera to, who was supposed to edit it, didn't edit it in time. So.
What is dirt?
Just dirt.
No artifacts, just dirt.
Yeah. Like dirt is like just stuff you don't need. Like you like worked so hard to get that research, but then you realize you didn't need it in your paper. So it's just like all that hard work wasted. It's just dirt. Any other questions?
How did being involved in seeing your project like stretch you as a person or as a learner? You know, not necessarily on your topic, but the process of doing your project.
Well, again, like I said, it like put me out there on my own, so it like helped me grow up a lot more, and I think I'm ready to take on college and anything now. Like before SYP, I didn't really know what to do. So when I did this, it just helped me realize and open my eyes to a lot more things, and it opened doors in my mind to like, I can do anything, because there's like no point in like sitting behind like a structured form of things and just like cower behind it and just not break through and just live always by the rules and just, no. I think I can be much more than that. And this has helped me with that. Does that answer your question?
What do you want to do next year?
Well, I'm taking a gap year and working, and then I want to go to Mass Art, hopefully to get my degree, and then I'm going to become a tattoo artist. Yeah.
Wait, I missed that last part. You're doing what?
A tattoo artist? That, not your thing?
Well, it'd be a great pitch to a hospital or, you know, for pediatric asthmatics as
Like,
something.
this will go to that. No. That was a great idea.
It's a great pitch.
How can we get more students to do senior project?
I don't know, just talking to them about the presentations you've seen, and like tell them how amazing they were, and like ask them to have their own ideas. I don't know. Just give them inspiration to do something on their own instead of in a structured format. I guess that's all I can give you about that.
It's about taking a chance, right? Because you take control of your own learning.
Yeah, and it's a big risk, big risk. I thought for about 3 weeks I couldn't do this. I thought I was in over my head, but here I am, talking to 4 amazing women about, no, 5 amazing women, sorry, 5 amazing women about my project.
What helped you get over that when you were doubting?
Oh, when Mr. Kenosi just like said, don't let it psych you out. And he was like, just like you are the commander of your project. The project doesn't command you. And like, he just gave me inspiration. He even said that Jedi mind trick stuff. He was like,
Did you need as much time as you got?
hmm?
Did you need as much time? Was it half an
I needed every second. Yeah. It was, yeah. It was,
Time for one more question.
all right. Well, thank you very much.